Story 1. We were best friends our entire lives. He was living in the spare bedroom shared by my ex-partner and me. We broke up in November, and I moved out. He still lives there with her. Story 2. My older brother is like my best friend. He is 28 and I am 26, almost 27, but unfortunately, he is a severe alcoholic. I can debate him, have different opinions, and no matter what, we will still be brothers, and that will not affect our relationship. We pretty much did everything together, from going to the same schools to getting into the same fights and playing video games. If anything happens to him, like passing away, it would hurt my soul. Story 3. He was a piece of shit my entire life and then suddenly grew a conscience a few years ago, apologized, and is nicer overall, but I cannot, for the life of me, bring myself to ever love him or get close to him. Story 4. I wasn't a fan until he turned about 17 to 18 years old. Now we're great. He's 41 now, and I'm 45. Bummer he's a 4-hour drive away now. We'd be hanging out every day if he were closer. Story 5. They are my absolute best friends. We are in touch on a day-to-day basis. Our children play together almost every weekend. We spend Christmas and New Year's together, play games together, you name it. Neither of our parents have good relationships with their siblings, which affected the relationships we have with our cousins. We have committed ourselves to change that with our children so that they may grow up with cousins and a large family. My brothers are the most valuable thing I have next to my wife and children. Story 6. I absolutely love my little brother. He's only 13, but he's a good kid and makes me laugh. I recently got him into metal and rock music, and it has led him to learn guitar last year. To my surprise, he's made massive progress with it and showed me him playing Iron Man by Black Sabbath. He told me he wants to learn the drums too recently. I took him to see some 41 last November and Slipknot last December, and I'm glad he told me it was fun. He said Slipknot was the most fun he's ever had in his life. I'm taking him to see Bullet for my Valentine, Trivium, Bowling for Soup, Pantera, and Limp Bizkit in the upcoming 4 months, and he's seeing The Offspring with me in November. Also, he's surprisingly really good at the video games he plays online at his age. He is one of the most behaved and successful kids in his Taekwondo classes, where he's reaching black belt status and has won awards for swimming. I also found out he's been learning different languages in his free time. I'm really proud of him, and I love the little dude. I admittedly spoil him too by taking him to fun places, and every game I get, he gets to play too. I got him a Steam Deck for Christmas too, alongside an In Flames, Doom Eternal, and Sepultura shirt he wanted. I remember taking him to see some 41, his first ever concert with me, and caught him giving me a tiny hug out of nowhere when we sat in the seats, pretty much thanking me for taking him to see them. Story 7. When we lived in the same city, we spent a lot of time together, but he moved away for school some years ago and has since stopped much communication. I text him every so often to catch up, but our conversations are short and dull. He has his own life now, and I'm not upset with him for that or anything. I don't think we'll ever be close again, though. Story 8. He got out of rehabilitation and immediately saved me from my abusive and controlling parents when I was 17. He helped me pick a career that would fit me best, got me into the trade school for it, let me live in his apartment, fed me, clothed me, and mentored me. I can still call him to this day with my problems, and he will help. I barely ever even saw him before the day he came to get me. He's my hero. I tell him that whenever I get the chance. Story 9. My brother told my nephew at 12 that my nephew had ruined his life. He and the child's mother both abandoned my nephew and left him with my parents. So not good. Story 10. I think about him almost every day. He's something like my moral compass. A lot of the time I find myself thinking, what would my brother do in this situation? And more often than not, I follow that path, which hasn't gotten me into too much trouble. Sometimes when I'm feeling down, I'll talk to him and reminisce about old life plans we had. Back in the early 1980s, he had an idea to buy, sell, and trade used video games. In retrospect, this would have been a lucrative business if we could have made it succeed, but then again, I was only about 10 or 11 years old, so my input would have been minimal at best. I reminisce about a lot of things from the past. Fishing trips, cars he used to own, cars we wanted to own, favorite music, he's a huge Rolling Stones fan, ex-girlfriends, and more. On his birthday, which was just about 3 weeks ago, I will sometimes pay him a special visit and celebrate with Carvel flying saucers, an ice cream treat that's his favorite. Or sometimes get some ice cream from a small local ice cream shop that we used to frequent when I was about 8 or 9 years old when we went fishing in the nearby canal. My brother died in 1985 and is buried about 4 miles from home. I still miss him. Story 11. One of them is so bipolar that I got tired of his behavior and no longer talk to him. Another brother tried to cheat on his wife with my then wife. Needless to say, I don't talk to him anymore either. I have one other brother and we get along great. Story 12. Better than it was. He was a jerk when we were teenagers and we always had said issues. He left to get a vocational degree, moving with his high school girlfriend's family, who later dumped him. I can say he worked hard to get his degree, still messing up a bunch of things along the way. That being said, he's better off now. I had been helping support him by proxy of supporting my parents. When COVID-19 hit and my dad lost his job and was getting stubborn, I was starting to stress. When I finally reached out to get his help with my parents, he stepped up. He can still be a pain, though. Story 13. We are pretty close. I would die for them, and I know they would die for me. They are the ones I can count on the most. Plus, they are my best friends. I feel sorry for the rest of this thread having terrible brothers. Felt compelled to add my 2 cents. Story 14. As kids, my older brother and I were incredibly close. He had 10 years on me, so I always looked to him for protection or advice I wasn't comfortable asking my parents about. When I was a teenager, we weren't as close since my family moved, and he chose to stay behind. He got mixed up with the wrong crowd and started getting in trouble with the law. He had been trying to write to me for a long time while he was in and out of prison, but by then I was a know-it-all fresh into adulthood, so I ignored him. He died unexpectedly pretty soon after getting out of jail and working towards turning his life around. I still beat myself up over it at times. Story 15. I have 3 older brothers and a very good relationship with them. I see them and their partners pretty often, though the eldest less so because he's farther away and busier, so that's fair. I don't always see them for holidays and birthdays, but that's just life. We try to meet up when we can for family occasions, though. We get on well and have a good brotherly love type of relationship. There's no bad blood or conflicts like that. We clash sometimes, of course, but we're all quite different people. Story 16. He is a troll. I like him but hate him at the same time. I am sure I trust him way more than he trusts me, though, even though I always fall for his tricks and stupid ideas. Story 17. Pretty decent. We don't call each other daily or anything like that, but try to stay in touch on important days or give a call whenever we're feeling it. I generally reach out more than they do, but feel like that is kind of my role as the oldest. Story 18. One brother is my best friend, biggest supporter, my main dude. If I were ever dumb enough to get married again, he's hands down my best man. The other one is an abusive alcoholic covert narcissist who keeps ruining his own life and blaming everyone else, especially me, for it. Edit. Cut him off 2.5 years ago. Story 19. He's in his bedroom next to mine. We still live with our parents, but the economy is tough. He's in school and I manage a pottery store trying to move up in corporate. I love that dude to bits. He needs to get his health and hygiene habits under control. He's a pain to live with, but we're a lot alike and have enough space despite being right next to each other. Story 20. I think my relationship with my brothers is okay, but I wish it was better. I live out of state. They are both within 5 minutes of each other, so it's definitely a bit harder for me to keep up. I was unkind to my younger brother for years and I genuinely don't know why. Maybe jealousy at how good he was at things, but it's one of the biggest regrets I have in my life. We're closer now and I've apologized, but I'm not sure if he's forgiven me. I sure haven't forgiven myself. My other brother is also really cool, but he's a lot more quiet and reserved, and so sometimes I feel like I barely know him. We have a group chat that we talk in pretty much daily, but I think I'm always going to try to improve my relationship with both brothers, even if things seem pretty good. I think I'm going to try to plan a brother trip now. Story 21. He was my first best friend. He's 18 months younger than me, and we're honestly 2 very different people. But we have a lot of similar interests at the same time. We're in our 30s now, and we still play video games together a few times a week and grab a beer after work on Fridays. My little brother is the man. Story 22. I'm the eldest. I just finished talking to one of my brothers. I went over to where he works during my lunch break to get the details for this weekend. He got divorced 2 years ago, and when he has his kids, they stay where I live. It sounds like there is a basketball game tomorrow. My youngest brother is quite a busy guy. He hasn't been married for a year yet, and they are expecting their first child. I think, in June. I talked to him last Saturday, if I remember correctly. They both stopped by and we finished watching one of the football games. I'm a bit older than both of them, and we have always had that as an issue. We have things we have bonded over, but both brothers are vastly different. However, the two of them are close in age and share a large group of friends and activities. Story 23. One older brother. No relationship. He's an unpleasant person. I used to hate him for how badly he treated me and my parents, but I let go of him and all that a few years ago when I started to have my own family and realized I needed to focus on the good things in my life. For most of my life until about age 30, he told me I wouldn't amount to much and never could handle it out there in the real world. He went to 2 Ivy League schools. I went to good Tier 2 undergraduate and graduate schools. These days, I'm 43, a senior vice president in corporate, married with 2 kids, and have 2 great cars and a great house. Doing just fine. My parents have given up on the inside, but on the outside, they try to support him by just being present. He just got fired from his corporate vice president role 2 months ago. He told my parents it's because he didn't conform to his boss. 5 years before that, he got fired for sexual harassment. He's now 47. My parents still try because he's their oldest son, and they still feel responsible, I think. But yeah, they're so tired. I mean, they should be. My parents are old now, and they've done their part. We stopped talking about 4 to 5 years ago. It's a real pity, all the wasted great times that could have been had. His 2 kids will never know my kids. Real shame, but that's life. Story 24. I have 2 older twin brothers. The 3 of us live together. None of us have a partner, so all the money we earn we spend on trips, cars, concerts, and video games. I couldn't ask for anything better in this life. If someone ever has twin brothers, they will be able to experience the wonder of complementary personalities. What one doesn't have, the other has, and vice versa. We only have each other. Our parents are no longer with us, and honestly, I wouldn't want any other type of family than the current one I have. Story 25. We fought pretty much our whole lives and only recently built a bridge with common ground, respect, and love. I'm really glad we got here. It filled a dark hole in my heart. Story 26. Polar opposites growing up. He was into sports and video games while I was into hunting and fishing. As adults in our 30s, we get along well enough. Not best friends, but he knows he can count on me and vice versa. We both work at the same factory. He is an operator and I am a mechanic. I see him several times a week, and every time I have to remind him that I'm the older brother and he will never be able to whoop my ass. Story 27. We love each other and always know we are there for each other if we ever need to chat. He is 2 years younger than me. He lives with our mom, and I live with my partner separately about an hour away. We do not talk as much as we should, but we know we are always a call away. We share plenty of interests too. Whenever we are together, we always banter and talk nonsense. Story 28. I have 3. We all get along 90% of the time. 10% of the time, I say something stupid and hurt someone's feelings. We talk it out, move on, and that's that. We see each other 6 to 10 times a year, except for one that we only see 2 to 3 times a year. Story 29. I have 3 brothers, and we talk every single day, or at least text in group chat. Our ages are 50, 48, then me at 43, and my little brother is 41. Growing up, I was closest to the one who is 5 years older, but now that we're grown, the oldest one and I are most similar in experiences. Each of us is wildly different, but we just click, thankfully. Oh, they are all alcoholics, so I am sure there's that as well. Story 30. I'd say my brother and I get along. Our parents' separation divided us slightly, and our own lives are very different. Even though we live in the same city, we rarely see each other. I wish him the absolute best with every endeavor he undertakes in his life. I'm always at the end of the phone if he ever needs me, which he very rarely does. It's strange for me reading through these replies. It seems a lot of other males are in a similar position as me, most commonly at odds in some way with their brothers. Why is this the case? Would a sister question get the same reaction? Story 31. My brother and I were never close growing up. He is 4 years older, and I was always the pesky little brother. I only hear from him when I reach out. Otherwise, I wouldn't know whether he is even still alive. He has never called me just to check in to see how I was doing. These days, we are both old. He is 73 and I am 69. Time is not on our side, so I feel that although I have tried, still the pesky little brother, I guess, to have some kind of relationship, it is just not meant to be.